Hello everyone, this is the EOS R test full frame camera checking the stabilisation of the Canon 100-400 Mark II L lens at 100mm full frame. So we're just going to test the actual image stabilisation, see how it performs, handheld, and we'll just see how it does. As I've said in previous videos, we're testing image stabilisation. If you're interested, I have done a test, same test, APS-C, previously. I will put a link in the description box if you want to find that. That is the 90D test. But at the moment we're just testing how the image stabilisation behaves and the autofocus on the EOS R. It's doing a nice job. In the viewfinder it does look jerky, but that's not necessarily what you're going to see in the video. I'm using my head as extra stability and trying to keep it as steady as I can using both hands. And that is 100mm. Okay, this is 300mm EOS R test. IS test on the 100-400 Mark II L lens. We're just testing how the focus behaves in video. We're on AI servo, by the way, if you're wondering. And we're just testing the focus and the image stabilisation. EOS R with the adapter. And we're just having a look to see how it performs. And it seems to be doing a reasonably good job. Okay, 400mm on the 100-400 Mark II L lens. EOS R test full frame. Checking stabilisation. I'm using my head against the viewfinder and holding with both hands, trying to keep it steady. I'm actually holding the zoom ring with my other arm just to see how the autofocus performs. And the image stabilisation, we're checking this out handheld. 400mm on full frame, there's no crop obviously. And we're just trying to keep it steady as we can so you can get an idea on how it performs. But for some reason it is a little bit slow. We're not using the limiter. It's about 8 meters away. And that's the stabilisation. Okay, this is the Canon 100-400 Mark II L lens with the 1.4 extender on the EOS R full frame camera. So we're just going to test hand holding again in terms of the stabilisation, see how it does at 560mm. It's not too bad. You can see it's doing a good job. AI servo, so it's automatically choosing focus, dual pixel autofocus, and it's doing a nice job. Nice and smooth transition. Does seem to slow down a little bit, going from near to far rather than far to near, you know. And there you go, that's the stabilisation test. Okay, this is the Canon 100 to 400 Mark II L lens with the EOS R full frame camera. At 100mm, we're going to be testing focus and image stabilization on a tripod. So let's just see how it does. So we just want to see how the focus does. Obviously it's 100mm, so it's some distance away. So really image stabilization ain't going to be a major deal. But obviously we're just having a look at see how it performs. If you're interested, I'm using a Manfrotto tripod with a Manfrotto video head, and we're just seeing how the autofocus performs. This is server AF in video mode using the dual pixel autofocus, and as you can see it's doing a good job. Okay, we're doing another test here on the 100 to 400 Mark II L lens on the EOS R full frame, 300mm. We're just checking the focus, the servo autofocus and the image stabilization on a tripod, Manfrotto tripod with Manfrotto video head. So let's just see how it performs. So we're just having a look at how it focuses. And checking image stabilization to see how it does. Is it comparable to the Sigma and the Tamron 150 to 600 lenses that I've done? Check those videos out. I will put them in the description box if you're interested. So this is full frame on the EOS R with the EOS R adapter. This is an EF 100 to 400 Mark II L lens, and we're just seeing how the focus performs. From near to far. I think it's doing a good job. I think it does work quicker from far to near rather than near to far. But you know, it is a good lens this. It's a very sharp lens as well. But we will get into image quality in a later video. Just keep an eye out for that. Incidentally, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It does help the algorithm, and hopefully if you keep subscribed to the channel you'll get to see more content as I go on with the tests. If there's anything you would like to ask, any questions, please do so. You know, and I hope these videos are useful to you. Okay, another test, 400mm on the 100 to 400 Mark II L lens on the EOS R full frame with the EOS adapter. We're checking image stabilization on a tripod, Manfrotto tripod with the video head. We're just trying to have a look at how the focus does. It's a bit slow. I've noticed that 300mm it is extremely quicker than it is at 400. So if you're expecting a lens that's going to be super fast with its focus, I think you might be a bit disappointed. Don't get me wrong, it is a sharp lens and it will certainly do what you want it to do. Has 4 stops of image stabilization as well, and if you do couple that with the EOS R or not the EOS R, sorry, the R6 or R5, I believe the stabilization goes up to 6 stops with the body stabilization. It might even be 8 stops, I'll have to double check that for you, but I think it's 6 stops at least. But if you're ever going to be doing like video work, I think realistically speaking, hand holding, if you're doing wildlife or anything like that and you want to do video, you're going to need a tripod. At the very least a monopod, but a tripod more than likely. You know, invest in a good tripod, don't get a cheap one. Carbon fibre ones are lighter and nicer in the cold because they don't keep the cold, because it can be quite, if I'm honest with you, it can be quite discomforting or little bit painful holding a very cold tripod in cold weather. But again, we're just checking the stabilisation just to see how it's doing. But in my mind, the stabilisation is doing really well. But we are on a tripod, looks very, very smooth. Okay, this is the Canon 100-400 Mark II L lens with the EOS R with the EOS adapter. It's an EF lens. We're going to just check the stabilisation on a tripod, Manfrotto tripod with Manfrotto head, video head that is. So transition should be smooth with this sort of setup in terms of a tripod. We're using the 1.4x extender Mark III. We've got 4 stops of image stabilisation on the lens itself. It's set to autofocus full in terms of its limiter, because it's got a 3m to infinity limiter, which isn't really that useful if I'm honest with you. You generally speaking need a better limiter than that, like 10 meters or 20 meters to infinity if you're going to do long distance. So it's going to be at least 560 millimeters. Obviously the 1.4 times 400 millimeters on full frame. So we just want to be checking the transition of the stabilizer, and let's see how it does for focus as well with servo AF with the extender on it. It's doing a reasonable job. Obviously it's quite slow. As you can see there, it's struggling to acquire focus. Let's see if we can get it to acquire focus. Yeah, it does seem to struggle when you've got something close and you've got someone far. Going from far to near isn't a problem, but I think when you try going from near to far, you sometimes have a problem. But it's reasonable. It's not super fast, don't get me wrong. I think you'd be better off with a prime, like a 300 2.8 or a 500 f4 if you want super fast focus. But when you're trying to focus close and the distance is near to far is quite close, you can struggle a little bit. Try that again. It seems to be doing it now. So I hope this example is really beneficial. You know, this is the EOS R full frame, 100-400 Mark II L lens with the 1.4 extender on here, using a tripod. And this is an example of how the stabilizer works on a tripod. Right, this is the Canon 100-400 Mark II L lens on the EOS R. Servo AF mode. We're in video at the moment. I'm using the 2x extender Mark III. Just for the fun of it, I thought we'd give this a go on the tripod. But be warned, it is quite slow and it's not the best solution. I would recommend manual focus, to be honest with you, because it is quite slow even at f11. Let's just see how it does. So we're on a Manfrotto tripod with a Manfrotto video head. I'm just trying to see how it does with autofocus. Seems to be doing okay. But as is having trouble focusing. As you can see, it is very, very slow.